All right, guys, recap time. Finally, we are back. I had some internet issues, had to get a new modem, and had to track down a new tech guy to come out and fix some technical issues with the wire. So now that we're all set and back up to regular speeds, we can actually trade. A couple day break there, but it is all good. So let's go over a recap and what we had today and what we told the team. So first things first, we had this real shaky above day yesterday there, and was not looking like she was going to go much higher. Pretty obvious there. If we go our 30-30, which is usually our go-to as far as price actioning, we had the standard deviation very close to that +1 on that push, pretty much into it if it recalculated. And we know that when price action pushes into that +1 on the 30-30, especially without catalyst, we're going to get a pullback and usually down to the center. So shy away the center and come all the way back down the standard deviation center and see what it wants to do. I had some high-low Fibonacci ranges set for some algoing that we seen yesterday, and these ended up absolutely perfect today as well. So what we had planned was a pop out of the gate, and this is what we told everybody: easy long out of the gate. And this is above intraday algo, a 1618, and a couple other things that we had right at 453.50. Now it shied that it had popped right out of the gate, right pre-market as we expected, for a few reasons. We can go over those. The volatility index showed us that it was very extended this morning at the top. So in pre-market, again, the standard deviations always recalculate all day, but during the pre-market push right here before it closes at 8:15 Central in the morning there, for me, VIX closes down, sits 15, opens at 8:30. This was price action in pre pushed up to the +2, which is going to be this green bar on standard deviation. So that was way up into overbought territory. So it needed a calm down before it went higher, and then obviously came into some huge resistance after, and then fell, and then nice big push. But VIX, again, this thing is just leading itself. It is very, very, very heavy to that upside. So we did see a little bit of back and forth, a little static there. But most importantly, we had a gap at the open, okay? So when this closes at 8:15 and opens, there's a gap in between those two candles. And usually, with a high percentage chance, they come back around and they fill that gap. Whether they want to go down or up after that doesn't really matter. It's all about the gap fill. So we left a gap to the downside, which means the market and likewise counterparts can push out of the gate because the VIX is overbought, right? So again, way extended to the top. We had a push out of the gate plan. Back to the SPY here. And this is what it gave us, a big pop up. Now you're going to see those fibs from yesterday's little algoing. There's some interesting weekly levels going on with this pin, and so is this one. So two different very interesting markers right there from yesterday. So I decided to do a high-low fib right there, and then we walked it down into our two targets, right? So our targets from there are break and stay under 454.60. This is what we told our team a million times today, just like a broken record. And we needed to see that under and consistently trending. So as long as the price action would stay under right here, our 100 fib, because our fib is pointed down, we're going to see our extensions hit. Now, if you zoom in here, you can see our first extension hit, reverse, and second extension hit. So it's actually very, very, very clean here on how this all played out. So you can see here, the shy away here came back up to the 100 fib, jumped, broke down, 1618. Now, usually when we come back down to a 1618, which is the purple level right here, we will tentatively get a retrace back up. It'll hit the gold. It'll hit the 1618 level, travel back to the 100 fib, which is the box we create, the 0% and the 100 fib, in which way we point the Fibonacci. We'll come back to that 100 stack and we will roll back around for our next extension. So you would be short biased as much as you possibly can under 454.60. So it's cycled 1618, came back up to the 100, and perfect breakdown to our secondary target, the 2618. So it provided three really good moves today. And we banked a nice, I think a little $1,200-1,300, I think it was, today by the end of the day. Some short, some long. So we had a really good trade day for the scalps, and that was about it. It was a very easy day, actually. So leading into the end of the week tomorrow, we are going to look for that continuation, right? And just to show here, I'm going to go back to this daily real fast, and we can see that RSI is coming off the hot. Last time we had called a short was obviously at RSI hot. We liked our oscillation indicators here. So right here, we started building in that short, and then we just had a beautiful week, about 5 days straight of short. So a lot of call selling near those highs, and just a beautiful 10 SMA down. Now tomorrow we could see that continuation. to that downside, we are looking at hot RSI. And more importantly, kind of leading into next week's data set, you see the TTM showing you a lower wave, right? You see it's not quite as tall as the last oscillation waves. We are leaning a little bit heavier to the downside than we did on this roll right here. And then you notice, obviously, for about a month plus, rolled back up here and gave us some higher lows on that RSI, push back up. And these oscillation indicators, they're very, very, very tried and true. So the lag that happens between the MAC and TTM NSR, once you develop your read, these things really come to light. So now we are at that top again, at the hot. So shorting into any one of these top days, just like we did, short, adding all the way back up to some really good 423 extensions on our weekly fib that we had prior as well. A lot of important levels there that we had got. So now with the back test here, what happens for Friday? Well, if we do continue, we're going to head back down to that 10 SMA daily and potentially one of the more near-term gaps. I don't know if we're going to get a breakaway day pre-sub date or not, but as you notice from Netflix, Tesla, and some of the other earnings markers, that is giving us more of a catalyst to see that downside. And that's where that's coming from, because when you fail something like Tesla and Netflix earnings, the market's going to get drugged down regardless of how much FOMO. Now, historically, July usually ends up pretty good. So we see Tesla here all the way back down, gap and go, fleeting to the downside, same with Netflix. So these are kind of those mini catalysts to see the market continuation, why we were so short today. Netflix just kind of hovering. So if these have further continuations and some of the earnings after hours today come to fruition the same way, we're going to see this move evolve into a further short. Now, the 2618 under 451.68, that might be a harder continuation. So we've completed the Fibonacci cycle, right? 1618, 100, 2618. Usually this pops back up and gives us some kind of confirmation. So most likely we're going to use that same level tomorrow. And if we do drain, that's fine. Just right down the hole and further down to 450, which I could easily see here. We'll bring up our Anchor View app in a second here and look at that. But 435.50, I'm sorry, 453, dyslexia here, 453.50 on the SPY is what we're going to see for continuation down. So we could get a bounce to the 2618, usually walks itself back up near the 1618. We'll see what kind of moving averages on the 30-30 catch up overnight on Futes, and we'll see if we can stay under that to continue the roll. Now, again, catalyst just for pullback is perfectly fine. We don't have anything crazy stopping us, but coming down to 450 and then of course like the 10 SMA and sub 450, we start picking up some bigger support levels. So if this thing wants to turn back around and start foaming back up because of July's historic long properties, well, so be it. Right now we are functioning some good pullbacks right here at the half deviation too. So notice between 1 and 2, we're getting a really good half deviation pullback. I'm pretty sure that's what happened on our last top as well. But these topping actions are accompanied by weaker waves this time, or lower, so we could pull farther, right? So our last pull right here on this short that we had called only came back down, didn't even hit the 50 RSI. This is the 50 RSI line right here. So the 50 RSI didn't even come down. It actually looped higher low, right? Like we talked about before, off of our low right here. And then the oscillation wave as well, very big oscillation wave on TTM. So if we do get a continuation here all the way down to the 50 this time, where we get a bigger dump, we may attack that gap into the 440s range, and then the RSI can fall back to actually take that 50 and who knows, maybe recycle a full low side to an oversold property. Kind of few and far between on that one. I don't see the catalyst for that, but I think we'll continue close to all-time high as expected through July and August. So July right now closing out, we'll probably hover here into late August, September. That's when we're going to start talking about our bigger pullback. So September is going to be my outlook for a nice couple fat red days there on pullback. Whatever happens after that doesn't matter to me. It's going to have a very, very time-driven pullback. So we'll be going over that as well. So that's about it. We're very easy day today and very easy leveling. So what we're going to see here, push back up. We do have a couple different areas of interest that are coming into resistance anyway by 460s. So we are getting close to that all-time high. Even if we don't hit all-time highs, we get some kind of catalyst, cough, cough, war into 2024 as we move lower. We'll be looking for that to continue. So short and sweet video. Stay tuned for the next. So we'll have a big breakdown for the weekend.